Tonight, we are honoring the Czech scrolls. The Czech scrolls that our community here at Westminster Synagogue received from the Czech Scroll Memorial Trust, which is upstairs. And we have Torah scrolls from Horažďovice, Hořovice, Přeštice, and also a Haftarah scroll, which is very unique and special, and that is from Boskovice. These are all towns in the Czech Republic. And I remember the first time I heard about the Czech scrolls and about Westminster Synagogue. And at that time, the only rabbi here was Rabbi Thomas. And I was completely dazzled by the story. In my imagination, there was this amazing synagogue in London that saved all the scrolls from Czechoslovakia. And there was this rabbi from Czechoslovakia also who made it in London. And of course, the name Westminster Synagogue, I thought like, wow, that's next to Westminster Abbey. I was so dazzled, really. And who would have thought that some 2 decades later, I will be standing here on this very bima, yet another Czech rabbi, this time Czech, not Czechoslovak anymore, because those countries got divorced for some reason, who found her place in London at the Synagogue of the Scrolls. So really all of my wildest dreams came true. All of my wildest dreams about the synagogue are true. This is an excellent, fantastic community. Rabbi Thomas is an excellent colleague and rabbi. So maybe only the location is a little bit off. It's not really next to the Westminster Abbey, but, it's a good name. So really working here at the Synagogue of the Scrolls still feels like a dream fulfilled for me. And it's really one of the greatest pulls that really keeps me rooted in this community. And when I started here 3 years ago, I somehow expected that everyone will be as excited about the scrolls as I was. And to my surprise, I met members for whom the scrolls were simply one of the many things the synagogue does. And some people have never even visited the museum and seen the scrolls on the 3rd floor. And I share it not because I want to rebuke anyone. I share it because it genuinely surprised me, and it really made me realize how easily something extraordinary can become ordinary simply because it is familiar. Because the scrolls are up there every day of the year, we might think, yeah, they are just up there. So I need to say this really tonight. Being the synagogue of the scrolls is one of the most precious things that has ever shaped this community. It places us on the map of world Jewry and makes us one of the more prominent synagogues in the world. And we should really be proud of this identity. We should be more than proud. We should really be deeply connected to it and just broadcast it every day, on every corner. Thanks to this community and its founding members, over 1,500 Czech scrolls were saved from communist Czechoslovakia, where time, neglect, and lack of interest would have destroyed them. And this community saved the scrolls. And my dream as a Czech rabbi is for us to do a bit more, to celebrate the heritage these scrolls carry and their amazing story. Each scroll is a witness to the Czech Jewish communities that were erased from history. Each scroll, in a way, carries the voices of the people who read from them, of the hands that were rolling through those scrolls, of the women who embroidered the decorations, of the bar mitzvah boys who stood before those scrolls. These scrolls are survivors and are witnesses. And this is their immense power. These scrolls really survived the darkest chapter of our Jewish history. And they emerged from this darkness and started to bring light again. Because most of the scrolls these days serve many Jewish communities around the globe. And this became possible through the vision and commitment of this community, of Ralph Jablon, of Rabbi Reinhardt, and of many, many others, including the current chair of the Trust, Jeffrey Orenstein. Okay. So if we would open one of those scrolls, this week we would read about Jacob. And he kind of goes on this gap year, right? He leaves his family, he goes abroad to Haran, he hopes to find a wife. This gap year turns into 14 years, he falls in love. The woman he wants, he gets kind of tricked and he has to stay 7 more years, so it's quite a lot. Anyway, at the end of this journey, he is about to return back home and he is most scared of meeting his brother Esau, because he tricked his brother in the past, so this encounter comes with the great anticipation. So he's really scared to meet his brother. And the night before their encounter, Jacob prays quite a famous prayer, which is in the Torah. And one sentence from this prayer is one that I wanted to bring to you. This is from Genesis 31:11. And Jacob here says, "For with only my rod did I cross this Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps." So, for with only my rod did I cross this Jordan, and now I have become 2 camps. And it's quite a powerful image. So Jacob describes himself in this prayer as he remembers himself at the beginning of his journey. As he fled his home, he was very vulnerable, and he was arriving with nothing but a stick in his hand. This is how he sets out, this is how he crosses the Jordan into a foreign country. And then in the same sentence, he refers to himself 14 years later as he returns with a family, with a lot of livestock, with a lot of money, with strength, with great future. So he returns stronger than when he left. He returns transformed. And this is all in one sentence. He was the guy with only rod, and now he is the guy with all the wealth and great future. And this line really speaks to me when I'm thinking about the Czech scrolls. Because these scrolls, too, crossed history with almost nothing to protect them. Fragile, vulnerable, alone. But they did not return diminished. They returned, in a way, multiplied. The scrolls served the Jewish communities that were erased from history, but now they are serving hundreds of communities around the world. So they returned stronger, in a way. So Jacob says, "I crossed with only my rod, and now I have become 2 camps." And the scrolls could say in their own prayer, if they were to do so, "We crossed with only parchment and ink, and now we live in synagogues from London to Los Angeles, from Sydney to South Africa, bringing light, bringing memory, bringing blessing. We are still surviving, still witnessing." So if your heart is moved by the story of the scrolls, like mine is, and if you feel inspired by the journey of the scrolls, I would really like to invite you to join our scrolls team and do some great work together with the scrolls to really help ensure that the heritage and the story of the scroll continues and continues to be a source of strength to many, many communities around the world. Shabbat Shalom.